Running commentary. We are exploring listening to albums. It is a lost art form. Eurythmics, Savage. Eurythmics Savage was released in 1987. It was the band's 7th studio album, and Dave Stewart described this as the band taking a sharp left turn. Did they ever? The whole thing with the Eurythmics was that they had enjoyed the hit with Would I Lie to You, which was one of their really big hits, together with Sweet Dreams. So the American audience definitely played a part in the direction of the band. But I do feel as though at this point, the band really just said, you know what, we're going to do our own thing whether you like it or not. How does this campaign begin? It begins with the very strange song, Beethoven, I Love to Listen to. Now, for any of us that watched Night Network when it first started up in the UK, our first 24-hour station on ITV, this was a mainstay, and it was Annie Lennox as this really decadent in one frame and then a washed-up housewife in another. A real change of direction, strange beats, strange looks, strange sounds. Gone is the whole melodic sensibility that you're so used to with the Eurythmics. It would have been a really quirky top 10 had it been a hit that people made, but I think it was just too strange for people to understand. I will tell you though, I still listen to this track to this day, and I think it was a really great decision, and I really love this song. I do love to listen to Beethoven. Great song. Savage reached number 7 in the UK charts, which, you know, compared to other album performances by the Eurythmics, this was kind of on the low side. But the band both say that this is their favourite album. I think the other thing that we have to bear in mind here is that there were those 4 years before the Eurythmics came to prominence with Sweet Dreams. They had 4 years as the Tourists. Well, actually, I think Eurythmics released their first single in 1981, and it wasn't until Connie Plank came aboard for Sweet Dreams and the whole Sweet Dreams album that they really took off. But prior to that, they were successful with 2 top 10 hits as the Tourists in 1979 with I Only Want to Be With You, their cover of Dusty Springfield, and also So Good to Be Back Home Again, which was in the spring of 1980 as a top 10 record. I've Got a Lover Back in Japan. Very ethereal, nice and airy, lots of space here. I really like this track. Break Away Those Ties is the hook in this song. I was bitter when I met you. I was eloquent with rage, sings Annie on a regular basis. You'll also find that during this album, she's taking on a host of characters with her voice. She really goes for it. I mean, she really takes on so many different characters with her voice, from Vamp. And here she's like breathy, and this is a great pop song. I really, really, really like this song. I think it showcases the Eurythmics' understanding of each other's artistry. You know, Dave Stewart as the guitar player and the producer here, his vision here, he really knows who he's working with. And of course, you know, for a while they were romantically associated. So there is an intimacy. And in this production, they're really exploring their limits and their boundaries. And I think that was what really pushed Eurythmics to prominence, with the cropped orange hair and the whole very severe look that Eurythmics had when they first started, when she was wearing, you know, the man's suit and toying with androgyny. It had been a while, I think, since Eurythmics had sort of returned to this kind of avant-garde form and really explored what they were capable of as artists. And this album was recorded in France, in the northern part of France, and that idiosyncratic nature, you can definitely hear that it's got that sort of quirky French thing going on in the production. They're definitely influenced by their environment here. Do You Want to Break Up? Another great pop song. It's super pop. I love this song. I can't believe I hadn't heard it before. I really enjoyed it. There's nothing to prove on this record, and these guys are totally okay with letting you know that they're not really doing this for anybody else's benefit. I do feel that middle period of the Eurythmics' career was a little more geared towards the demands of RCA and what they wanted and what they thought would be a great direction for the band to go in, but here they've just completely they're just not interested in what the record company or the audience wants, and it results in this, I think, a really liberating experience. You Have Placed a Chill in My Heart should have been a top 10 record. There's just no way around it. It's a beautifully sung song. It's touching. It reminds me of being 16, and I liked the song at the time, but now as an adult, I really like it even more. It's just very moving. You know, it's got a real heart to it that I really enjoy. Yeah, it reminds me here, I'm saying it reminds me of running around London, you know, Lewisham, Holloway, Mile End, you know, the places that I used to run around when I was 16, and that sort of first sort of feeling of freedom. And there's just something about the songs of that time, whenever they were of an emotional nature, and obviously when you're a teenage person going through, you know, breakups every other week, you know, a song like this is really, you know, great, because it sort of reminds you of that time and, some might say misspent youth. The Wish I Was Invisible refrain here is certainly my favorite part. I love the way she sings. I just, you know, this voice is really legendary. She can really sing. You've got to give it to Annie Lennox. She sings. She really sings, and she really gets into it. And I just absolutely love her performance on this record. Shame. Yet another brilliant song, and when it came on, I remember, because it was a single, but it didn't do as well. It came out after Beethoven, and obviously with Beethoven being so idiosyncratic, then everyone said, well, they've obviously lost their minds, so we'll ignore the second single, which is exactly what they did. But this is a great song, you know, on the TV, on the media, Shame, you know, We Love You. There's a bit of judgment going on, I feel, you know, with your greasy hair and your this and your that. You know, she's definitely sending it in and saying how she feels here. But again, it timestamps this era beautifully at the end of 1987. It only reached number 41 in the UK, which for the Eurythmics, you know, they're used to having top 10s on a regular basis, so, you know, again, I don't know if they cared about this at this point. I really don't think that they did. And this was the point in the album where I said, where's my credit card? I'm going to go online and buy a bunch of songs from this, which is exactly what I did. You know, by the second or third listen, I was like, okay, that's great, that's great, that's great. This is how this album is working for me, and which is kind of strange, you know, because I like Eurythmics. It's funny, isn't it? They're one of those bands that you like, yeah, you like, but I hadn't really explored that deeply. I mean, why would you? You know, the singles to me are so standout that probably anything else would not be living up to that. Not the case. You know, definitely on this record, I found that through exploration, I got quite attached to quite a few songs quite quickly. So definitely recommended here. Savage, on the title track, it's clear that Annie Lennox is prepared to play any role on this record. The timbre of her voice is very sort of nasal and English woman, very kind of... She sort of plays it like a sort of frustrated housewife on this. She sings like very nasally and through her voice as an English woman, and for anyone who knows, Annie Lennox is from Edinburgh, so she actually usually has a light Scottish lilt. So the fact that she's toying with her voice in this way is really quite entertaining. The voice is really entertaining. You follow it. You're following her voice, and it's up and it's down, and she's wildly expressive here and subtle there, and really working her instrument to its full capacity on this record. Yeah, like I said, you can't help but feel that Eurythmics on this record are pushing back against corporate expectations. It's really ballsy. I mean, I'm trying to imagine them taking this into A&R, and the people at RCA sitting there and thinking, what the fuck are these guys doing? Like, what are they doing? Its heart is not in producing hit singles. It's art. This record is true art. You know, even just by the cover, you can tell she's just in that blonde wig and she's like not looking out. And I really just so far, so very, very good. I Need a Man, you know, this was a single for the Eurythmics. The character that she plays here is like some, you know, sex-crazed New Orleans vamp. You know, she plays this to perfection. Baby, 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 don't you comb your hair. You know, she really goes for it. And she's, I just absolutely love it. And, you know, at the time I wasn't that fond of this single. But there's that guitar thing that they do at the end where they're really jamming out and everyone's having a great time and they're in the part. It should have been a bigger hit. Yeah, I've put here that I'm not sure that guys appreciated her one false move and I'll cut your balls off kind of presence on this record, which she has. I mean, she's very much a threatening female on here. Very emasculating, you know. This is not the kind of woman that you're gonna be taking home. She's the one who's gonna be dragging you home by your hoodie, so to coin a phrase. Put the blame on me. So for the first time on the whole album, I'm like, okay, the magic's over. It's like it's okay. The track's okay. You know, they've done so great up until this point. It's got lots of energy. I Need a Man is really hard to follow. So, you know, they had the work cut out for them with this track. So Put the Blame on Me now is so far the one dud on this record. Heaven starts with a great bass line. It's very clubby and ethereal. It's sort of, and it's got this woo, like this ascending noise. It's very clubby, like it pounds along like something from the 80s. It takes you right back to the club scene of that time. And I guess it's sort of loosely based on, I can't think of the movie, but it's Heaven, I'm in Heaven, I can't think of the movie, but whatever that movie is, that's the one that she's sampling here to get this going. Celestial words always seem to bring the best out in Annie Lennox, and this is no exception. Savage, Wide-Eyed Girl, it continues. This track sounds like an OK Yazoo track. Produced by Vince Clarke. That's what it sounds like. It's not produced by Vince Clarke, but it sounds like it is. We are 8 out of 10 so far. I do like these voices she's employing on this record. She goes absolutely balmy at the end of this song, and it works. I Need You is performed as though they are playing to a disinterested crowd, which is quite genius. It's so very far removed from the very produced work that we've heard up until this point on the record. It's stripped down from all the intense production we've heard thus far. Just Dave on guitar and Annie singing, punctuated with the noises of a light bar crowd. You can see yourself there at this venue. The song's okay, but the song is not what this track's presence is about. This is truly clever. Yes, I love it. The final track on the album is Brand New Day, which has a resemblance to It's Alright, Baby's Coming Back. Nice harmonies from an inspired Eurythmics. How can I be upset in this point when the album has impressed me so far? I think that this record is definitely worth checking out. If you've got earlier Eurythmics albums, or if you've been one of these people that has enjoyed Eurythmics up until this point, this would be an investment for you. In final summation of the album, I award this record 97%. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, recommend it to friends, post comments. Also, if you have an album that you'd like to hear reviewed, we welcome your requests.